George here because of his experience on the levee, and it was a little different than the experience I had on the wall or any other artist. And what's behind his designs is really, really, you know, from a different perspective, and it enlightened me. And also, at the same time, you know, George's music and being connected to the special song that was designed in Pueblo back in the 70s about the Arkansas River. So, I'm going to hand it over to you, George.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Hurry up, man.
I will do the best I can.
Okay, you will do
Hello,
great.
everybody. I'm George Samaras. Oh, is this working? No? Is this working? Yeah, it's going. Good. So, you can all hear me well. I'll stand back. There. A little better? A little better? Yeah, definitely. Okay. Again, I'm George. I go by Gio. Now, here's my little story about Gio, how that came up. I'm Greek, okay, by nationality, and George means husband of the earth. That's all.
Oh, just a little louder.
Oh, louder. A little better?
That's better.
Good, yeah. And so George is husband of the earth. And so I've always been kind of a finger in the soil because my grandmother from Greece. And I thought about it, and we had a friend by the, we used to go by Gio, because George was his father, and Gio was the son. So I kind of liked it back when I was young. So I never used it. It's my middle name, Priam, which is a Greek king from Troy in mythology. And so now I'm more earthy because I kind of was involved in Stockyard Recycling Center with Carolyn and Kelly. And we had a good thing going. We were doing composting, grass, leaves, everything like that, and used worms to basically digest the organic materials. And then we traded rent with fresh soil to the Parks Department for Stockyard and Queens, right there, 5 acres that we had that we were doing, starting an eco-village that we were moving towards. And Carolyn got sick and passed away, so on my birthday. But she asked me to come before she died. I blessed her and did her thank yous for all that we contributed to each other's lives at the time. And, you know, the Stockyard, the health department took it up. That was 2017, I think. I played at the opening. Banks in Arkansas, of course, right near the river. Oh, one of the important things that we were doing is we had a 6-piece recipe, and biosolids were part of it. We were taking biosolids from the waste department across the street and using it as part of the compost that the worms were eating, and just dissolving everything, medications, pollutants, everything. We were going to do a white study, but again, when she passed away. The university was involved. Other people that wanted to do recycling was involved, especially organic recycling. That was our focus. Then we refer people for metal and everything, but we take wood and chip it up and other things like that. So that was one little thing that I did. I did fundraisers for them, musical. I got a picture of the guys that I used to play with: Carlos Kroll, Mike Short, Paul Reed. I've heard of some of those guys' names. And so it was music, inspiration, philosophy, culture, all kind of rolled together. Painting on the wall, way before then. So let's go back in time to the 80s. Bill Coppola had a building. He had what was his company? He had a t-shirt printing company, Quick Print, kind of fast t-shirts. And one of the artists drew a logo for me for the Arkansas River Cultural Collective, which was a non-profit that I was trying to work on it back then, and they didn't know enough to really get it going. Now it's still around, and it's listed with the Secretary of State of Colorado is active, but non-active. It's registered but non-active. There's no members yet. Anyway, there's more to that. So, going through divorce after a massive energy project that pulled off here in Pueblo, I've got some documentation on that one. I rented an apartment from Bill Coppola, who used to own the building in Corona and Union. Right there, it's a brick building, you take a right, and you go along the river. Okay, so, and I was looking at that, and the people, Diane, was from TE. Was it Diane?
Deanne.
Who?
Deanne was that.
Okay, Deanne. Deanne would come up and kind of joke with the artists and things like that, and ask for colors, or think about drawings and things like that when they were doing the tub. So I knew about that a long time ago. And when I watched it go up, the funniest thing, I don't know if anybody remembers this, the cops were after them because they were doing graffiti art. You know, back then graffiti art was taboo. And they were out there painting one night about 2 o'clock in the morning, and the cops saw them. And they pulled over, and they got out there, and they got on the wall, or up on top of the wall, and they tried to pursue them. Well, they took off running down the levee. And the cops tried to do it in their shoes. And if anybody's been on the levee, you know that it's slick and it's angled, okay? They didn't know how to walk on it. They both fell in the river. Chasing them, they got away, you know, so there was somehow, I guess, a photographer was down there, and they took pictures and things like that. They must have listened to the police radio and got down there. And after they took the pictures, there was an article in the paper the next day, and the community said, "Let them do it, man, yeah, right on," you know, that kind of thing. So it was, and with that, everything really started. And then Tony Perniciero went on, the elephant, the duck. Was it elephant?
There's a donkey.
Oh, maybe that was it, yeah. And it was adjust or adjust. And that was a philosophical one, okay? Oh, it's there. Oh, yeah, right. Tony and I were friends, so. And he was a philosophical Italian bricklayer. And he even wrote a book. And he used to make short comments on topics, but philosophical topics, you know. I wish I got the book at home. And after that, things started going. So they started to get a little bit more stringent at that time. They said, well, you know, liable for being on the property and things like that. So I approached Conservative District, and I got, I think, the first written authorization to do the mural with the 7 super universes. There's a story behind that one, too.
Which
Now,
one?
so let's get to that point where we're starting to paint. A friend and I have been reading a book called the Rancher Book for 55 years at least. I got it at 75. I got information that's right there. And I was going to turn to the page where they inscribed that. And there's another piece of cardboard that I had. Big piece. I know it's here. No,
Inscribed what?
it's sizable, you can't miss it. See it?
So did the table.
I'll find it. So, Buck and I said, well, we gotta train our legs. We checked it out, we got up there, and we know we needed money for paint, because we wanted to do a good job. And, how many people here have had Celestial Seasonings tea?
And what?
Celestial Seasonings tea?
Oh, it's from Holter.
The owner and director, Mo Siegel, was part of the Ranch Book activities up in Denver and Boulder that Drew was from. He gave us $800 to buy materials in 1993. And we painted, we got good exterior cement enamel paint that would not degrade. And we did a primer first. And that one, each each one of those strips, cement strips, are 10 feet wide. There's 7 strips on the vertical, and the horizontal is 50 feet high, 70 feet long. 3,500 square feet. That's sizable. And we were out there for days, just painting the background, and then we painted it dark blue. And then we did other things. Basically, I did a lot of people who helped. The lettering was done by a good friend by the name of Archie Anderson. He had a painting company here, and he was another arranger reader. And he had leukemia. And on that one and the other one, there's another one that I want to show you about the mansion world. I don't know what's up here. It's a big piece of cardboard with 2 pictures on it. I don't know if it's out there. Huh. Pardon me? Sir? No, it's definitely astral. That's one of them, and I brought the other one that's on the side of that. Anyways, he had leukemia, and we knew he was dying. He knew he was dying. He said, George, let me do your lettering. So he was a sign painter, so I said, you got it, go for it. And we did the lettering, and I filled it in. He told me what color to put on there, but he lettered it all out. And a few months later, he died. And we were talking about that. And I said, Archie, when you get up there, because what that is, that for us, what we're reading there is spiritual, but philosophical. That's different. It's not a religion. And I got a beef with this winery here. They won't let us display the book in the New Age fairs for some reason, for no reason. She always declines our membership application for the New Age fairs here because it's a religion. It's not. It's a book of philosophy. And what we think is life is divided into 3 areas: science, philosophy, and religion. Science is a study of factual reality. Knock on, material, finite level of reality. Deal with that. Sorry. Phones. Everybody else is bottom of phones these days. So, Archie, before he did, and I could see it now with him lettering and me standing above him talking to him about hitting the next level. And we're faithers and we believe in an afterlife. Bottom line, that's what the Ranger book's all about, afterlife. So we talked about it. Archie, send me something. Know that okay and things like that. We knew that we weren't allowed to communicate, but if he could get away with something, just. And I'll be doggone. A few years ago, he was also part of something called Wilderness on Wheels, which was building a platform or a ramp in the forest up in Boulder for wheelchair victims and disabled victims, and they would go out in the forest and do hiking, kind of like rolling in the trees and things like that. So, and he was definitely an enlightened person. And I turned him on to the book and a couple other guys too at the same time. But so we were talking. Now, we had a friend, Joanna Weeder, and she was kind of a Reiki master. And she was holding him before he passed away, and he wouldn't let go. So she said, Archie, you know what's in front of you. You can let go. Poof, within 30 minutes, he was gone. He had given her a T-shirt of Wilderness on Wheels. She gave it to me 4 years ago. So I said, thank you, Archie. If you know what I mean. I took it as a sign of, hey man, keep it up. So that's just one little story about the lettering. And we took the description of how they describe the super universes, which are all finite level of reality, other inhabited worlds, and organized into a whole super universe, major sector, minor sector, local universe, constellation, local system, Earth. We got a long way to go, but that's our career. What we believe is what everybody's been talking about all these thousands of years afterlife. So if I can tickle your fancy about even thinking about that, and now comes more enlightened stuff and artistry. Here's what they talk about the high mission of art. That's one phrase. I told Joan Norder, I said, boy, think about that one. The high mission of art, of all art, is to foreshadow by its illusions a higher universe reality, to crystallize the emotions of time into the thoughts of eternity. That's it. That's one to think about. Okay? And the guy that was here last week, I gave him that thing, and I gave him the phrase written down because he did it. I felt that he was doing it with his family, and that kind of eternal thought because you're dead, and I was thinking, and he got us to think about it. And Michelangelo, we're going to be at Da Vinci Museum. Holy cow. Good choice on it. Good choice. I'm sure that we're going to get recognized for that. A buddy of mine's painting the Last Supper, Joel Carpenter, and he's doing a job on that. That's going to be on the wall. I got to see it now. I saw him when he was first cartoonish when he was first getting it up there. But again, higher universe reality, good art. When you see good art, I mean classical art, it's so fine, it makes you think of something eternal, because it's thousands of years old and will probably be around for another 1,000 years. So thought. And the universe, what I've learned is the universe is mind-dominated. Okay? Everything is mind-controlled, especially at this level. And let's take, for instance, what do we see here that wasn't a plan first, that the mind wrote down and envisioned this place, and envisioned everything you see. So the mind dominates, for good or not good. And so that comes around to the, well, what is good? For me, mine is love. And my definition of love is the desire to do good for another. Simple. Real simple. But, not to profit from it, just to do good. The good comes back, always. Always. Like this, for me, this is good. So, I've been working 50 years, keeping the song alive. So, guess what? Time to be a little more philosophical. I want to read something. It's my prayer for peace that I have on my wall and on my laptop when I fire up. Prayer for peace on earth. We pray for a united world of brotherhood with tolerance and understanding amongst all people. We pray for an end to war, the alleviation of suffering, the healing of sexual abuse, and an end to subjugation of women, the abolition of animal cruelty. We pray that all humankind shall respect and honor the earth and the realms of nature. We pray for a global awakening of humanity, grace for all the world, victory for the forces of light, the fulfillment of the divine plan. And that's my heartfelt desire. With that, put some music. Because this is what got me going, right here at this place. 1975, we had a show about the Arkansas River. Starting with vaudeville, songs, all original songs, 8-piece original group. 1975, we We had 4 slide projectors, 2 8mm cameras for movies going at one time. It was outrageous. Kind of like what they're doing now with Sangre. It's called, let the lights on. You don't know why. It's called Gathering the Light. And I had this, Brian Ritchie was a master of emceeing. He was good. Brian Ritchie wrote Banks of the Arkansas along with Doyle Trantham. And I was a new guy in town. I came to town in '74. I met them in '75. Beginning of actually, I went to Martin Music in Boston Strings. I met Donovan McNeely. I don't know how many people know Donovan. And he said, you know, we're working on, you're pretty good, man. Why don't you come down to listen to this, what we're doing out at the Art Center? I said, okay, well, I'm a new guy, you know, sure. I was living out in Colorado City at the time. Wanted to build a geodesic dome that I had plans for here, because there's something else I want to talk about. So they asked me to open a show with this song, Gathering the Light. And that's what we're doing. We're gathering the light with art, mariachis, pottery, all festivities back then. Here we are again, my friends, gathering the light, seeking thoughts and wishes we believe are right. Now we are together, sing a song and try, sing about how we're feeling, shared by you and I. Cross paths and walk on open scattered desert road. Mountains covered white, carrying our new load. Slowly moving forward, seeking but the truth. Finding walls and lies and all the fantasies of our youth. Stumbles, should be too soon fall. scenes and people were dancing and people playing more music and just bringing it down. And it was so popular, we had a demand repeat performance. That was in February, and then in May, we did a repeat performance because it was demanded right here at the Art Center. And I still have recordings from rehearsals for the second show on the laptop, but it's hard to do. But it can be. Maybe during that evening, I play a couple. Now, onward.
You did great.
I got a bunch of
Yeah.
Okay, so what have I been doing? Pattern. We do everything in a pattern. Well, because reading this book and talking about other things, I came up with this pattern. Now, part of it, I've always been an energy buff, a renewable energy buff. I wanted to obtain a well, almost did. The well was before the hot springs, that's what it's called now, to build an intentional community. But in this pattern, with what? The geodesic dome that I had designed. And they would be laid out, home, 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 central common place, food, relaxation, library, or on a bigger scale, this could be duplicated 7 times with a bigger dome in the middle for the geothermal hot well, hot water, as the spa. Okay? Along that line, on the picture, pattern. Okay, and that's what I was always thinking. Pattern. Well, we all follow a pattern of life, breathing in and out, heartbeat. It's all pattern. So, part of the cool stuff, if these were homes, that was a central common place. These would be grassy areas to hang out with. These would be trees to block wind because it gets pretty windy out there. And the yellow, they make pavement. That's solar collectors. Okay, that would be either a central utilities place, but it would all be generated right there, along with the geothermal for other things, along with the wind for other things, along with the solar for other things. So I was definitely an advocate of solar energy way back. I'm also an advocate of hydrogen energy. That's a little bit more less known, but it's the future. The world, I don't know if people know this, but the world is massively investing in hydrogen power. Massively. I mean, hundreds of trillions of dollars. Australia, Germany, Finland, Sweden, all the northern countries, they're almost all on hydrogen already. America's dragging their butt. Exxon's got one down in Houston. They're manufacturing hydrogen. Germany's got electrical power plants like CS9, Comanche. Okay, they're generating electricity out of water. And they take it. Now, this is where I approached Mayor Graham on this idea. Shut it down. I applied for the new Energy Commission. Shut it down. I was on the first Energy Commission that Pueblo City Council started in 1979. They hired me in 1980. I was working for Pueblo Action as a community energy advocate. And speaking of Beulah, we're not speaking of what I'm going to. I was kind of the energy advocate, and they trusted me. Back then, it was still kind of new, solar and all that other stuff. But I saw the beetle kill outbreak because it was on Bob Jackson's land. He was a representative from Pueblo, from Colorado House. And Phil Gammon, I guess, him were friends. Phil Gammon was my executive director of Pueblo Action. And we were a licensed agency to deal with the war on poverty under the Johnson administration that Vincent Carter took over. So, we were still doing advocacy for the low-income, disenfranchised, disabled. And I was one of the community energy advocates on lower rates back then. I even participated in one that got rates lower from the PUC because I went up and testified and I said, this is hurting Pueblo big time. They lowered the rates. Whether or not my testimony had anything to do with it, I don't know. But it happened. So I continued that. And they saw me do that. I had the first solar exposition at PUC PCC, that was cooperative. People were still coming on with the hot water collectors, just the hot water, not the hot air yet. So they had I had 12 people display their goods. And then one of the board members saw the responsiveness of the community. He talked to the dean at PCC, and they started a low-income educational factor 4, or classes 4, building solar coolers back in 1980. So that worked out. I'm still on the Energy Commission, or Energy, I call it PERC, Pueblo Energy Resource Committee, or Commission, Pueblo Energy Resource Center. Boom, did it, it's been so long. PERC. Perk up, people, you know, here's the solar and it's free energy, let's use it. And I'm trained and teach people that. And part of that, I do workshops, started a Mother's News facility here, a chapter, a local chapter. We were doing food club. Oh, the Lactors were part of that. The Tom and Jean last week, they were part of the little food club that I had in my garage, and we were buying wholesale and things like that, and splitting it up. But we were doing it under the guise of the Mother's News, which was cool. We did some other workshops. We did solar collector workshops too. Just build it yourself right there on the Isaac Duran. I don't know how many people remember Isaac, but he had the SRDA, and I had my offices in there, and there were all kinds of tables that weren't being used. I said, we can have a workshop right here, build them right here. So we did 18 units, and I have the materials here of what they look like that walk out the door. It's a little Thermax with glass covered, and you can, I'm going to let you look at all this stuff and read some of this stuff. And 18 of them walked out the door, $80, or no, $69. Oops. And they walked out the door, carrying on their shoulders, and they put in their open window. It was passive, all passive. So the heat, the cold air would come through the room in the back, go down the back, and because this part was hot, the front was hot, it would cause the rise of air, right? Thermodynamic, where it would suck in the cold air and push out the hot air. In a room, just sitting there, you know, watching TV at night or in the daytime, it heated up those things. I said, yeah, you can put fans in them too, you know, just a matter of adapting to it. So that got things started, and then more workshops happened, and music was still happening, because in '77, Henry Reyes, after the show, I was the new guy in town. They thought I was trying to take over. And, you know, I said, okay, I'm from Chicago, big deal. You know, okay, the mob was there, big deal. Anyways, I got a story about that one too. I took the song to Henry Reyes at a work session, and they liked it. And Henry gave it the title. Let me read you this letter. Dear fellow Colorado, I asked him for a letter of support. And this is what he gave me. And this is original. This is his signature is the authentic one, I believe, on this one. I've kept it in a file, nice and pristine. The City Council of the City of Pueblo, Colorado, has gone on record endorsing Sunshine Banks of the Arkansas as a combined anthem whoa, for Pueblo and the Arkansas River Valley region. In this regard, we encourage the dissemination of the story it tells of our area. Folk singer and musician George Samaras is undertaking a project to popularize the song written by Puebloans Brian Ritchie and Doyle Trantham as a regional anthem. Again, Mr. Samaras has indicated a desire to record the Sunshine Banks of the Arkansas in both English and Spanish to appeal to both ethnic communities in the area. He and others involved in this community-based project are to be commended. As Mr. Samaras calls upon area residents for additional support, I trust that you will be well received. Henry G. Reyes, President of the City Council. So, this went over like a lead balloon, unfortunately. People thought I was trying to steal the song, guys that were in a band. This is not, I don't say this very often, but I want you to know the real history believe when you have psychic oppositions, things don't blossom. People still, to this day, think I'm trying to steal the song. If I wanted to, I could have copyrighted it a long time ago before the video did, and before his daughter did in 2017, when we re-endorsed it. So that negative energy, it's kind of holding things back. That's why the community really gets behind it if it's authentic. And water, what does it nurture? Okay, that's the key. What does it? It nurtures everything. Us, the soil, animals, plants. The local universe mother spirit is the spirit entity that provides water to all inhabited planets. And she nurtures the universe, along with the aggressive material creations. That's the counterpart. That's a Michelson. The local universe, mother spirit, and the father spirit. There's always a duality. And out of that comes us as the third. You say yin, yang. Yang is the creative, yin is the nurturing, and the creation is the yang. There's a triple lobe that I've discovered over the period of time. It's out of Taoism. So I blend that in because it doesn't conflict. Truth, real truth coincides, synergizes. It doesn't conflict and tear down. So, it's a long time. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. share this too much, but I asked somebody if I should or not, and they said, go ahead. In 1999, in 88, I had moved back. I moved away from Pueblo and I came back in 96. I moved back to Chicago to be close to my children. And I moved back because I didn't want to live in Chicago because I had a heart attack back there. So it's easier to live in Pueblo. So I did move back. And 99 comes around. I'm playing music. John Gerlach and all those guys are, passed away now. Mike Short, who's the bass player on a photo that I have there, playing at the Art Center. I had an accident. A drunk 16-year-old kid on Norwood and Constitution. It's T Street. For those of you that know the Pueblo area, it's T Street. While I was heading home to watch a movie with a girlfriend for Christmas, or before Christmas, December 5th. And so we went out partying. I went to get a movie and brought it back. He's going back home, and his kid turns left. And he should have yielded and hit me head on. I didn't have my belt on. I was a few blocks from home to put on your belt, and a few blocks from home. I impacted the window, crushed the window, smashed it out. Probably had gone through it, but it hit the steering wheel that ruptured my spleen, removed. 19 inches of intestines, removed. 3 weeks in a coma. Traumatic brain injury. So, that took a while to start recovering from that. I still feel it. Vertigo, 24/7. Right now. Not to draw your pity, but just let you know that I don't know what I would call myself.
You're a fighter.
A survivor.
Survivor.
Yeah, survivor. I can fight, yeah, but I don't want to fight, But I rule, I endure, and that's it, choosing to endure, even if it's little. And that's where one line that Jesus taught me, and his whole life is in the Orange Book, all his years, teachings, lectures, tours, everything. It's all in there, written by higher beings. I don't know if you can accept that, but if you read it, you'll understand what I mean. So, I felt good about what I was doing. I woke up, I said, where the hell am I? It was December 5th that it happened. Yeah, when is it? Well, you've been in an accident, George. What's this? Staples. Sewed it back together. So, when I was doing the recycling, I said, I'm a recycled human being. And I saw my angels. I remember them opening the doors before I really walked out. Because I impacted the windshield, man. I took pictures of it afterwards, and you could see the points of the glass sticking out. Because my head hit. But I had on a hat and my glasses, broke the glasses, had it cut up here, and that was it. Lovely. Had I not impacted that steering wheel, I could have gone through it, recoiled, and off of the head. Because, the windows, that can go through it on glass, on autos, goes back to the same, with the cellophane in there. Keeping them shattered. So, while I was talking to my seraphim, and I recognized who they were because I was reading the arrangement book. And we all have seraphims, all of us, like protective angels. That is for sure. You can count on that. I was talking to him. I woke up, right when the accident happened, kind of in that time frame, I was encountering something. What the hell's going on here? And he said, George, you need to make a decision whether you want to continue on or go back. I said, well, I got to think about this for a minute. Sorry, no time to think. You got to decide now. I said, well, I lost my dad when I was young. So if I can avoid creating pain for my children, I'll go back and love my children. And he said, it will be as you ask, but we have to make a lot of adjustments. Boy, they were did. And so I made it, and tight. We're tight. My daughter, Cons Film Production winner. Cons friends did a short on the outbreak of homosexuality in the City Synagogue, Los Angeles. Won top in France. And Tribeca here 8 recommendations, honor recommendations it was a short, it was a 20-minute short, same thing called the Black Hat. The Hasidic Jews, you know, the Jewish regime that has long sideburns, black hat, black Muslim, that's what they get moved about in that community. And it won, you know, we don't talk about that much. We do, and I always congratulate her. She worked on Prison Break, she worked on Desperate Housewives, 4 Adam Sandler films. So I'm really proud of her, really proud. She lives in Los Angeles, you know, she came to visit me on transitioning from Chicago to Los Angeles. So we're always loving. I don't lay any guilt on them. Why don't you have any grandkids? You know? One is L'Oreal is 50 in November. My son is 46. Neither of them are married, so I don't know what's the family name. But they've done well, so I'm loved. They cared for me. My daughter was there. As I walk along with a gentle thought on my mind, I see the sun come up, people rush for time. For me it doesn't matter, I'm living for today, to love and share the feeling with you in some way. Meeting you, my friend, was the start of something new. The friendly way you looked at me as I came and sat with you. The smiles on our faces as we sat and watched the sky. Though not a word was spoken, just the unity of our minds. Now the hour has come for us to go along, follow our own pathways, for us to sing our song. I will remember you with the feeling deep inside. The beauty has brought to me a love that will not die. Though I say again not to say goodbye, but a simple see you later, my friend. We'll meet again sometime. Now the hour has come for us to go along, follow our own pathways, for us to sing our song. The story behind that song, you know, I go back to the painting. This is a special note. The guy who started Celestial Seasonings was a Urantia book reader. Now he's the president of the Urantia Foundation. Mo Siegel, the guy who started Celestial Seasonings. He gave me $800 to paint, and there was a front page picture on Easter of all the days that I brought to Boulder when we were having the Easter celebration, and he showed it to the 200 people that were there in the audience, you know, listening to the speakers and things like that, and held it up and said, "Look what Buck and George did down, blah, blah, blah." And everybody recognized that from the Urantia book. So it's like, wow. Kind of feel it. Show that Urantia book.
We can post it on the page,
Yeah.
maybe. Which would be great.
So, thank you for staying. I know some people left. I don't know.
Do you want to play this?
Oh yeah, let's play the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your phone, I think.
No, it's on the remote. Or it's on your computer, I gotta do something.
Now this we did after Brian and Doyle, the other guy that Doyle, I was at his house the day he died, that night. He was,
The remote's
pigmentosa or stenosis, and so he was going blind. He was pretty blind at that time. And he got up in the middle of the night and fell down the stairs to go to the bathroom. I got him, fell down the stairs, broke a rib, punctured a lung, and had a heart attack. That was it. So at that point, he said, and I was talking about because Brian had passed away, and I said, let's get that song going again, you know? And well, they kind of biffed at it, but then when Doyle passed away, they said, yeah, George, let's do it. So we got together, 13 of us, discussed it, and Sonny Tice gave us the forward. We got a recording studio down in Samaras, and we had the studio, we had the musicians, we had the inspiration, we had the motivation, so we did it. We put together, and Jules Basie, who was part of the Chamber of Commerce at the time, was part of it. Also with Doyle.
Yeah.
She used to sing with Doyle, Family Jewels, yeah. And so we had he edited it all. I did my part. I did the third verse. Who does it? Oh, Dave Gooch does the first verse. He's a popular guy for those of you that know him.
Yes, he is.
Pardon me?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And his daughter works at the park department, and I went to check on the new playground there. And I said, "What's your name?" And I said, I gave her a card. I have this habit of giving people, strangers that are from Pueblo, a card with the URL for the song on there. And it's a handout, you know, so I'm trying to get this going for the 50th anniversary next year, so I'm not stopping yet until the 50th comes around. And she said, "Oh, I know about that." I said, "How?" "Well, I think my dad was involved." "What? What's your dad's name?" "Dave what?" "Dave Gooch." "What? That's your father?" I didn't know he had a daughter. And they talked about it that night. She went home and talked about it, that she met me and I gave her a card and, "Oh, Dad, why don't you do," you know, that kind of stuff. And I saw Dave a couple weeks later and I said, "Oh yeah, man, we talked about it at dinner, we laughed, we, you know, just carried on." So you never know who you're gonna run into. I mean, oh great. And I said, he opens it, and you're gonna hear his flute. This is halfway through.
Down by the Arkansas, built my house before the snow, and I had my wood piled high. Lived there till I died. Watch that snowflake fly ride. Sunshine made to the Arkansas. River's been good to me, helped me raise my family. She's flowing by. Worked there till sunshine banks of the Arkansas. She leaves behind, she leaves me dry, but she leaves me so free. River is calling me, takes me so tenderly. While the water flows by, rest there eternally. River will be watching me. Sunshine banks of the Arkansas. She leaves behind, she leaves me dry, but she leaves me so free. Down by the Arkansas, built my house before the snow, and I had my wood piled high. Worked there till I die, watched them snowflakes fly. Sunshine banks of the Arkansas. She leaves me high, she leaves me dry.
Good shot.
But she leaves me so free.
Truck that I converted into an RV before RVs were RVs. It was an old construction van that I put bed, sink, ski pole, storage, music, closet, amplifier, sewing machine, and toured from Chicago to Florida to California to Kansas, and ended up come to visit a friend in Pueblo, Ray and Joni Paycheck. Old friends, and
Yes.
you know them? Oh, yeah,
George,
I know.
that's a song, what you just said.
What?
That's a song right there.
What do you mean?
The
Traveling
journey.
from here to
Oh,
there.
yeah, right.
You just described.
Having a good time all the time, and the buggy. Called it the Jupiter Express. I even wrote a song called the Jupiter Express about, maybe, I don't know if I have time to play it. No. And it took us, it was a blue Metro van, 12-foot body in the back, sliding, opening doors, and canoe on top, bicycles on the front, generator in the storage, amplifier, sewing machine to do goodies, fold down beds. It was classic at that time for and we traveled all the way around, had a good trip. And then gas went up with Reagan. It went from 32 cents a gallon to 54 cents a gallon. Everybody freaked, so we stopped traveling as much and ended up in Kansas. And just happened to, I was going to Chicago to get money to come back to do what we needed to do to go, maybe find some land. And I ran into somebody in Denver who was driving to Ohio. So I said, well, you're going to go right through Chicago, man. Can you give me a lift? So we pit started in Kansas on the way from Colorado to Chicago, because he was going to drop me off in Chicago. And the place where we stayed, overnighted, they rented a house just for fixing it up from this farmer. And he had cows and things like that. So I asked, do you have another one of these places? He asked. He did. I said, sold, we'll be back. And went to Chicago, went back, got my wife, and headed back to Kansas. And they had a house that we had to fix up, lived there for 6 months. Then we said, oh, let's go visit Ray and Joni. Drove out to Colorado, ran into Colorado City. And at that time, we had enough money to buy the land to start the dome. Well, got into it, did the foundation, starting to do walls, started looking around for a bank to do, financing for it. Nixon went sideways, and all the banks went conservative. No owner-built, non-traditional home loans. So I had to sell the lot back and bought a house in Pueblo. Here I am. 2 kids, loving family. Yeah, we broke up, but we still love each other, and we know that. We acknowledge each other as co-creators. Divorced people, but she's happily married now, and I'm glad. Got into computers and was advising people who bought software from this company, and she's good. She's on it. Just got diagnosed with cancer, though, lung cancer. For a health nut, that's hard to accept. So we don't know. I mean, she's okay. She's not. She had a brain tumor. She woke up with a brain tumor, and they operated and took it out. So she's back to normal in that sense. So we still talk. We talk every couple of weeks. I talk to my daughter once a week. My son's busy. He does a podcast on his book for 7 years of people who read it and their opinion of how they got into it and their specific topics. You name the topic, and he did it. Spiritual topics. Oof, man. And he talked about the life of Jesus too, and that's enlightening. And I don't know how not to not talk about this, because it's changed my life and it changes everybody's life who reads it. And they claim the authors are non-human, kind of like an Edgar Cayce thing, that it came through a sleeping subject in the 30s, and they worked with him for 15 years, from the late 20s, the early 20s to the middle 30s. And they copied down every word that he said. And they were channeling through him higher intelligence of the kingdom of heaven, the real kingdom of heaven that was talked about by Jesus, and it was down through the years. What they do explain in here is that we live on a rebel planet because of the Lucifer rebellion. But when Jesus came back, he reintroduced the Spirit of truth and the Holy Spirit to the planet that had been severed. We were isolated. They didn't want it to spread. 35 other planets decided to go with the rebellion out of 600. So it was small. Jesus had him arrested on the Mount of Hermon. That's what they reveal in here. He was arrested. Him, Lucifer, and Satan are in jail on the mansion worlds. That's why I wanted that other picture, because one of them is a planet of the Father, and on one of the smaller satellites that's around the major satellite is a prison world for rebellious beings. Just because you get to heaven doesn't mean you don't actualize free will and rebel, but that's not doing God's will, and that's my desire, and hopefully it happens. Like today, I'm looking around for my keys at home. I said, I just had them. Where are my damn keys? Spirit, please show me. And I turn, and there they are. And it happens over and over and over and over, and it's what you think that helps them help you. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. And that's the capacity of love. We help no matter what. We don't want anything. We're doing it because we're choosing to do good. So that's what I'm trying to do with the song, because with my energy advocacy, environmental advocacy, and I went up against Cotter Corporation. I don't know how many people remember Cotter Corporation, the uranium mill up in Kansas City. Well, I knew what was going on there. They were expanding. They were going to build a new plant that now is destroyed and gone. And I found out about it again. And I went to Washington. I was an advocate for the poor. They wanted me to deliver a grant to Reka Gosick, who was our representative here, before the long bill deadline ended, and we had to get it to Washington. So I flew it to Washington as the advocate, and I talked to him because what was going on with Cotter happened to come up, and he's the representative for our area. So the water contamination coming down that had already happened, that was in the, and the solution to pollution is dilution. So don't worry about it, it'll be dissolved in all the water. Yeah, contaminate the water.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Pardon me?
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, that too. So we were on it. I had a little committee called the Pueblo Anti-Nuclear Involvement Committee. A couple minutes, I think. And if you acronym it, Pueblo Anti-Nuclear Involvement Committee. Anybody put it together? Panic, right. Because they were polluting and not installing the Hypalon liner where they were going to put all the sludge from the uranium mills and mines. They were driving tractors on it, they were driving cars on it. We knew about it, and that wasn't supposed to happen. So I went to Washington, I told Gogosic that. I said, George, I'll have a guy there. And he did. For the hearing, he came up to me and says, yeah, I'm at Ray Gogosic's office, and you're right, man. This needs attention. Then I found out, after moving away and coming back, it is the oldest Superfund cleanup in America, and the most expensive. And they're still having problems out there. So I'm looking at to protect the river, whatever I can do at this point. I don't know what, but I went out there when they were having another hearing, and they're still having trouble. Anyways, not to end on a funky note, but if you can spread the song, it's on YouTube. It's on N1 Music. Lots of hits on N1 Music. Lots of them. Probably most of them. It's got over, probably by now, it was 54,000. I tabulated all the different places that it was. 54,000 views. This was 6 months ago.
We'll make sure you get a bunch.
Yeah. Now, I was hoping that we could spread the word, through the Art Center, with Juan and Deborah, doing the song in Pueblo. But I feel like this is the life the river gives, rather than being destroyed and getting drowned out and that kind of thing. Not that it's negative, I mean, it's history. And we recovered from that. But this is part of the recovery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. How can we build it up? Or does it need to be changed? Or maybe the techno beat, or I don't know. I'm open to suggestions.
If I may, George.
Sure.
So the Art Center, I'm Andy Sanchez, the CEO here at the Art Center, and we're working with Juan and Deb Espinoza because the Art Center has become a bit of a home for Song of Pueblo. So with that, what we're working on is how the outreach will go with the local schools. For years, as we know, Song of Pueblo has been performed consistently for those in local schools.
Mm-hmm.
But I foresee, the idea is, what are we handing off? So the idea is those generations that are up and coming, they are going to have to be the stewards of all the things that we're talking about, and that's a big part of that. So I just say that in the hopes that the folks that are in this room, whatever that becomes, it will become.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say that, and these discussions and the performance schedule, that all remains it's coming.
Yeah,
But
but you said you're going to be real
the
busy.
planning and how this will work with the youth and how that'll work, we're going to need help. So all of the things that you're talking about, George, I mean, they're not falling on deaf ears,
I'm
and
glad.
how we work together to make those things
Right.
happen. And you've got some great people, from Jules Basie to
Right.
Joy to Gooch so that's outstanding.
And I
Thank
played
you.
this
Thank
at
you for
Pillar
all you've
Park
done.
when they dedicated Pillar Park.
Yeah.
I played the song at Pillar Park. They had a little plaque on there. And
I didn't get to talk very much
Oh, yeah.
about
Go
history
ahead.
of Colorado.
Yeah, go
But
ahead.
I can make sure when this exhibit goes into the digital archives, that your song goes into the digital archives. And along with the interviews, we're probably doing 100 interviews in Pueblo, getting real close here. I'll be starting. And so I'll be interviewing George about the banks of the Arkansas, and that will go on the iCloud. So you keep track of those numbers, George, because
Okay.
it's gonna blow up.
Great.
Fine.
Well, and I want to say too, many thanks to Karen Fogelsong, Brent Burnham, Celeste,
Yeah.
Santa Stephen, the staff here at the Art Center. There are a lot of satellites working at the Art Center in terms of their history,
Yes.
their abilities. So these things that we're all doing, you know, they build off of each other. So and Cynthia, all the great work that you've done, I just want to say thank you to the artists in the room as well. It's important. It's very important.
It's
Understood.
community.
It is. It
It's
is.
building community and it's nurturing it.
If I can add something, Juan and I go way back.
You had mentioned that, Georgia, when we talked here
Yeah.
recently.
And did I tell you that after I did that expose on the contamination of the pollutant guys that were going to build that repository for the hazardous waste? Oh, I can sit here.
Sure. Say that again, Mike.
Yeah. In Juan Espinoza and Debbie and I, well, not so much Debbie, but Juan more so. I was active in the neighborhood health centers too. I was on the board of directors, and he kind of called me out because I missed 3 meetings in a row. And he said, "Oh, you're supposed to miss 3. You can't miss 3 meetings and you're off the board." So he called me out. You know, I was having a baby, I was working, you know, that kind of stuff. So I couldn't. But that's okay. I'm still friends with Dr. Rivera. I saw him the other day and I said, "Hey man, you still playing golf?" He said, "Sometimes." But Juan, after I was fired from the Energy Resource Center, because the lawyer for that company was the city council's son who hired me. So by then, not getting their commission, he lost a lot of money. I got fired 2 months later on the excuse of your telephone bill is too high, because I had the #1 energy conservation, low cost, no cost energy conservation program in the state of Colorado out of 18 agencies. I was #1, lowest cost of production, best return on investment, and the most amount of savings the prior year, the next year. So I took it with a grain of salt. Who'd they hire? Juan. Why? I don't know. But he's in the solar and he's got a solar house, and you know, I didn't hold it against him or anything like that, but you know, we're friends. Haven't worked together, even though we've got all this potential going on at the same time. It's like, why aren't we putting our brains together, man? You guys are creative, I'm creative. Let's do something that's outstanding. Not just do something, but like who gets a song in Pueblo dedicated for 50 years? I'm not bragging, but it's an accomplishment, and I thank God for it. You know, it couldn't have been done without that. That's my connection. So, I don't know, I just take it day by day. This may generate something, may not. You know, we'll see. Just keep on playing the music, sharing the love.
So we'll collaborate for the 50th anniversary
I hope so.
for the levy, which is in 2 years,
Yes,
and make it a big deal and partner and, you know, encourage more partnerships,
right.
you know, to keep that legacy alive.
Absolutely. I'm gonna do it.
We're not going nowhere.
The grave, maybe. That's what I know, but I'm just kidding. Anyways, thank you all for staying
You've done a
and
lot.
sharing
Thank you,
this
George.
with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope I've contributed to something about someone's feelings about, you know, higher universe reality, but still eco-balanced, and just enjoy the water.
That's right.
The most important
wouldn't
thing
be
that we
here.
can do is water and air, hydrogen and oxygen.